So this is the main part of the Creative Skills workshop. So this is where we're going to be making something out of modeling clay. So for the group, they will have picked a team and they will have picked something from the team that they would like to do. So for example, stuff that they could pick from could be vehicles such as cars, motorbikes, airplanes, or they could pick other things like animals and sculptures, things like that. So for today's group, for today's session, they picked motorbikes. So if I was to do this with a group, I would hand out sheets of motorbikes and they could pick their favourite one, whatever one they'd like. They could all pick a different one if they wanted. Or they could go onto the internet together and we could look it up. This is for children with intellectual disabilities ages of 8 to 12. It is suitable for any age group, but that's the age group I selected for this particular one. So like we did earlier with Icebreaker, they will pick their favourite colour or colours depending on what type of colours are available at the centre that's there. So I have a range of different colours, and the more colours the better because they're being creative. They can pick whatever colour they would like to pick for it. I have picked a pinkish red one for the main body of the motorbike that I'm going to make. So the motorbike I'm going to make is this one here. It's a simple body, simple layout. It's a simple looking one that I'm going to pick. Adaptations could include either having an engine or not having it, having wheels, having tyres on the wheels or not having them, or having the front wheel further back from the main body or close to the main body like it is in the picture. There are many different ways people could go about making it and different ranges and abilities. For example, this is a motorbike made from the same colour, all white. In it you can see there's no tyres, there's just the wheels. There's the seat, there's the handlebars, there's the light, there's the back, and there's the engine. You can also see that the wheel is independently joined with two attachments to it. You could go from making that to making a car. You can see this one is much bigger. That came off, but there's an engine inside with all different parts. There's a light bulb inside the light, and it has tires on the wheels. Indicators are there, and the front lights are what they should be. Inside it has all the different parts that a car would have. So you can see that it has the steering wheel, the accelerator, brake and clutch, radio, gear stick, seats. The glove box also opens. So there's lots of different things you could do with and progress with over time. So you will get everyone again to pick their mana, whichever colour they want. So I picked this one, and I will demonstrate how I'm going to do it. So I will mold it, melt it with my hand so it's in the malleable kind of shape. Before you go any further, then it's important to let them see what tools they are going to be using. So because I'm facilitating the group, I'll have a very sharp one. I don't need a sharp one. I could also use a lesser, blunter object like a small plastic knife to cut stuff with. If you're making like of a car, you would need this to cut more accurately with. You could use a pen or something with a point on it. Children are used to using pencils and pens in school anyway. And instead of using a big wooden roller, I'll be using just a big battery. I just find that easier and it's safer for people to use. Before using it, you'll also have to do a small safety talk with the group. So don't put in your eyes, nose or mouth. Don't eat it, don't throw it, don't show it to other people. Don't let it go off the mat. It has to stay on the mat you're using. Everybody will have a mat and will stay on the mat, not go on the table. For the purposes of the video, I have my model spread on the table just for the video's sake. Now, I will then start by making the bike. So, just before I go on, I will just refer this to the sheet here. As you can see, there's different adaptations you can make. So there is no exhaust on this one, but you can make when it goes up. You can have a dual one, so one each side, or a single one. You can also make the front wheel further away from the main body. As you can see, that one I didn't really include an engine. You can leave the engine in and out depending what you want. You could also draw it on if you want to. Then in this small sketch down here, the wheels are kind of more close to the body. You could also just make the wheels without a tire if you really wish to. Now everybody will make it at the same time. So I'll begin by just rolling it on the map, get everybody to just roll it into a shape. The warmth of their handle will warm it up enough where it can be made into different kind of shapes and objects. I need to roll it back a little bit like that. You can make it whatever size you want to make it to. It doesn't have to be really big, it doesn't have to be really small. It all depends on the age group, the ability, how much time you can spend at it, how much models is available. That could be key because a lot of centres mightn't actually have a lot of resources. It really depends on the situation you're doing it. I'm not going to make it overly big for the video's sake, but it's also easier for children when you make things a bit smaller because it's easier to correct and it's quicker to make. So I wasn't happy with that shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want to make I want to put an incision in the back so I can bring out a little bit to put a wheel in. Because I'm going to make my wheel a bit further apart from the bike, from the front of the bike. Now I want to cut it, so just to make it a little bit better of a shape. So I've cut the front bits off like that. And now I'm going to just use my thumb just to pump it down a little bit like that. So now it's in a different kind of shape altogether. Now in the back, it's going to make a small incision there. So that's to start off with. That's what the shape to start off with. So then I'll go around the group. I'll help everybody get onto this part of the bike. Again, if you have your cutter, you can just cut the backs off, just a small bit, just so it looks a little bit better. It doesn't have to be done, but you could do it that way. Next, I'll start by making the wheels. So what I'm going to do for that, I'm going to make them out of a different colour. I'm going to use green, just to distinguish the different parts. So to make a wheel, the best way to do it is to just make a small ball, one like that, and make another small ball, one like that. Now there are small things you need to keep an eye on when you're doing this. You just come across over the weeks. This has a small crack, a few cracks in it. If I was to make that and press it down, it won't come out the shape of a ball, so you need to roll that around a bit more. As the weeks go on, you can inform your group of that and they'll probably come up with it themselves. It's important to try and make the balls the same size if possible. That way the wheels could come out a lot better and they'll more likely come out the same size. The wheels don't need to be overly big because I want to put a tyre around it. For the purpose of the video, I have already tyres more or less kind of pre-made. I'm going to use a white tyre. For this I just roll it and I kept rolling it to make it a really small shape. So the best way then to go about making this part is to just get the tyre like that. Oopsies, get the tyre like that and just roll it the whole way around. Then when you get to there, just make a small incision. Cut there like that. Bring it around, and then I want to cut that part there off like that. So you'll get this like this. Then just for aesthetics reasons, it'd be best to put the top part where it joined on to where it won't probably be seen. So for this one it'll be here. Then I'm going to press them in like that. So that's the back tyre and the back wheel on the back of the bike, like that. Next I'm going to start by making the front part. So I'm going to, when you're going to do this, you're going to do these in stages. So if you only have your group for an hour and this is all you get done in an hour, that's fine. Just keep it up and you can go at it again the following week. For the next part then, I'm going to roll out more of it again, because I'm going to be making the front parts of it now with the front wheel. That came apart there, but that's okay. I will just push it back in like that, and now that's fine. Now there's a few different ways you can make the front of it. The best way to start off with would be just to have the wheel made first of all. So the same thing again, just wrap it the whole way around. Now as you can see there, I use my fingernail there to press it and cut it. The kids could do that as well, the children could. Or you could use your cutter just to make a little incision on it. It's really up to your group and again the resources that you have available to you. Another good way of actually making a tire and making it when to progress on more would be, once to have the incision made, just roll it around like an actual wheel and then start molding the bits in where you can see the incision. As you can see, they're starting to go, so you wouldn't actually know what that was before all that. So now that's made and you can see they're more or less the same size. I think it's a pretty good size comparison. Now there's two ways I could make this. I could do it like that and have it come up and then push two marks on it. Or I could cut it in half and have them come up this way and make two more come up that way. I think I'll do it that way. So then I'll use my cutter and I'll just cut it in half there. So what I did there was I just pressed my thumb down there just to make it fit better on the wheel. You could nearly do the same thing again just to attach it on. Now that'll fit nicely in with this. So as you can see there, there's a little issue over here. So you could let them either work it out for themselves. You could attach it on like that, or you could press it in a little bit like this. Just so there's a little impression there, so I could fit in better with these. So that's done there now. As you can see, the wheels are actually keeping it up off the ground. We will make a stand later on for it. So that's the main body there now. I'm not going to put an engine on it, but I probably will write a little bit of an imprint on it in a little while. So just to go back to the drawing of it, as you can see, it's not exactly the same. It doesn't have to be the exact same. We're only using it as a guide to go by. This actually looks a bit different, but that's good because I'm using my creative side. So I didn't keep it the way the wheels are now, really close to the body. I made my one a little bit far apart, so it's a bit different. That comes down and around. Mine comes completely straight, just across. So the next part then we're going to make the handlebars of the bike. So same thing again. The best thing about making the bike is it's a simple thing to make, it's a fun thing to make. There's different parts in it they can make, and you don't really need to use a lot of tools to make it. I haven't even used this or used this. You would need them for other things, but you don't need them for the bike really, unless you're struggling to break it down with your hands. That's fine then to use. Now again, really, there's a little mistake I made. Really, when you see that bit there, you'd want to be encouraging them to put that here where it won't be seen and where it'll be covered over completely. It's not a problem, but it's just small things like that is just to look out for. So I've molded that and fixed that back there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this nice and fat, a little bit thick like that. And I'm going to get it and I'm going to just push it up like that. And again, I'm going to make impressions down here that can fit onto the bike. So I would try and encourage everyone to make it like that because it'd be a bit easier for them to make. It's then just a matter of impressing it onto the bike. Just there like that. And up like that. So now they have the front part is made of the bike. Now, for the handlebars, I think it'd be a bit better if I just cut that off there. You can go around the room and you can guide children what will be better for them to do. I could make two more coming up like that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to simply build out from it like this. So I'm using my fingers, don't have to use any more tools or any more mala. Just to make it out like that. Like that. Then if I want to make it a bit more realistic, obviously it depends on the weeks as well, I could put a small dash just there. Just like that. The tire came apart there again, just like that. I have some black mala here. That's going to be the seat. So that needs a bit of work pressing down. Again, it's just a very simple motorbike we're making, nothing too hard, nothing too fancy. I'm just going to put that there. That's where the person driving is going to sit. Now, we're coming to the final stages of it now. So, one thing I will make will be just the mudguard at the back and the mudguard at the front. So, I could even just use a small piece here. Just make it very flat like that and just let it rest over it. Doesn't matter if it droops onto it. Over it like that, and then the same towards the back. If it's possible. If it's not possible, that's fine. Now I will also I'm going to make the lights now. So the first thing I want to do is, again, just show them how you're shaping it, how you're making it. Up like that. Because that's going to go here. Then I'm going to make two back pieces. It's all about rolling, it's all about measuring it, making it. They're about the same size. Doesn't have to be the same size, but they're about the same size. I'm now going to press these in, just like that. Moving out a small bit like that. So that can go into where the driver is, so it won't be really seen. And now, you just need to attach that there. So as you can see, that's up over the wheel. Just there. So that's standing nicely by itself. I'm going to use yellow mala for the front lights and red for the back. So I'll get my red. We're going to make two small red lights at the back. So this is where you might encourage them to use the purple colours of if you have it at the back. So one there and one there. And here's the front light here. So I'm actually going to use the motorbike's light there. So I'm going to make that triangle, the same. So just push that out there to show them how to make the shape of it. Doesn't have to be like that. It's going to attach that on like that, and then that can rest on the mudguard there. So that's the front light. They're the back lights that are on it. I want to make a stand then just so it can stay standing when we're doing it. So now it can stay at a tilt if I wanted to stay at a tilt. Now, if you really want them to use the pencil or that, they can just draw on a design of the engine if they want. Random scribbles here and there. That's their engine that they can draw on. If you have a group you really want to get more realistic with it, I have orange monitor as well. You can use that for the indicators. If they know what they are, that's great. If they don't, that's fine. So I'm going to put my one there. And I'm going to put another small one just there. And then I'm going to do the same at the back. Two small ones there again. One there. And one there. And there you have your bike. So that's the seat they can sit on. There are the handlebars. That's the front light with the indicators on it. They're the back lights with the indicators on it. You see we use a tyre. We've got different rims on it. So one thing I was forgetting to do, that's the exhaust. I'm going to put a big fancy exhaust going up on it. I'm actually going to do two of them because we got enough of this here. So this might be another place where you might use the cutter again. We haven't used it that much. We didn't need to. Again, you just show them what kind of impressions you make on it just to make it easier. This is where I'm going to use the pencil, just to make it look more like an exhaust. Just one in like that, and one there. And my exhaust is just going to go up like that. Something different than the bike that we were making. Just my own little creativity on it. And there we have it. There's the dash, the handlebars, the seat, the stand, tyres, rims, the main body that we started off with, and the exhausts and the lights. That's your bike, and you can do plenty of adaptations to it.